welcome back to the channel. I'm David Mazzei with Mazzei Formula, and this is the Mazzei Formula 5 project. Thank you guys for watching the video and appreciate all of your support and following. I'm here today in Texas again with Todd Buddy, one of my best friends. He's an amazing fabricator, SEMA Battle of the Builds finalist, and he's also built a twin-turbo all-wheel drive 4-rotor, and he's currently working on a Mazda Repu, which is a twin LDU Tesla drive unit, all-wheel drive, 1,000 horsepower, crazy looking thing. I'll show you a little bit more about it in the video, but I'm super stoked to be working with him and to see his artistry in person. He's an amazing fabricator, amazing person, and it's just super exciting to be able to work on this project. So let me take you through some of the updates of what we've been working on. So one of the first things that you'll notice is these new wheels. We have these 3-piece wheels that are by Youngblood Racing. I want to thank Ryan over there for helping us out in designing these. So something about the SLC is you'll notice that most SLCs have a 1-piece wheel, and usually those are produced or they come with the factory car. You may have seen that in the last video. But this is a 3-piece wheel, and what's really interesting about that is you have this polished step lip with a 17-inch inner and an 18-inch outer barrel. Now the thing about that is typically when you have a step lip wheel like this, it's hard to fit a large brake caliper on the inside, right? Because you have a 17-inch diameter in there. And so you must have a brake caliper that is designed for a 17-inch wheel. Now these are designed for 18-inch wheels, these large Brembo brakes. So being able to put a step lip 3-piece on an SLC is something that you don't usually see too often. There's a few other cars that have done it. Now Ryan has figured out a way to be able to have the clearance of an 18-inch wheel, but still have a 17-inch inner for the face. And so that's really cool. I'm really glad he was able to do that. I think it looks, I really love the look of it on this car. This is a custom wheel that he's designed, and the bolts go along the inside. And it just barely fits, which is exactly what we want. We're also running these huge Michelin racing slicks. These are 355mm wide section. So you can see my hand sitting on the wheel here. It's just totally crazy how wide this thing is. And this is a large 27-inch diameter, from top to bottom, thick sidewall. So what this is going to do is it's going to give us a lot of lateral and longitudinal footprint. So when we put the big wing on the back of the car and we're generating a lot of downforce and aero on this thing, it's going to stick and it's going to go, especially with the mid-engine power plant, which is what we really want. We want to be able to put 1,000 plus horsepower, 1,200, 1,300 to the ground and be able to really accelerate in this thing on, like at the top end on the racetrack, on the straightaways. So really stoked to get these new tires and wheels on the car. And then the other thing that we've been working on is this roll cage. And so Todd and I have been designing this together, and we've also been working with Don from QRP and also Hill from Agile Motorsports. So I want to thank those two guys for helping out, and Brian Leonard. This is a chromoly roll cage. So most people use DOM tubing. And chromoly, you're able to use a thinner sidewall and it also be just as rigid. So it ends up being very lightweight. And it's TIG welded. And Todd did an amazing job. I watched him do this himself, like literally in person. And he built this whole thing in less than 3 days, which is just tremendous fabrication skill. And it's just crazy artistry to see him TIG weld and cut and notch and tube bend, and the whole process of designing this thing. Like being able to bend this rear hoop with the large mandrel that's required, and the hydraulic benders and all the equipment that he has. So I want to thank Todd for such a beautiful piece. And so, yeah, we've also been working on the seat. So this is an Ultra Shield, which is, similar to a Kirky, something you'd see in a dirt track car or a NASCAR or something like that. It's called a full containment seat. And the thing about it is because it's aluminum, we're able to modify it. So what we want to do to be able to clear the roof and be able to have the helmet clearance from the roll cage and get the driver down real low to keep the low center of gravity to be able to handle the G-forces in the turns is we take the seat and we cut the back of it and we modify the layback position. So it's real similar to what you might see in like an Indy car or an F1 car or something like that. I mean, obviously not anywhere near as intense as that, but you'll see that the driving position when I sit in this, I'm almost laying back, but my neck is still straight up and down. And then Todd's going to be building a beautiful pedestal on the ground with dimple dies that our tilt and pedal box will sit on top of, so that your feet are up, 4 inches from the ground to complement your seating position. He's also working on, this is our dummy steering column right now. We're going to be putting a collapsible column in the car and building a dash from here. So once we get all the safety components done and the interior of the car finished, and the dash, and generally all the inside stuff, we're going to be moving to the body and the aero and the suspension, and then we'll be moving to the plumbing and the hydraulic lines and all of that stuff. So it feels like I'm sitting in a UFO right now, trying to figure out what planet we're going to go to. It's so wild inside here. This thing is so tiny, it makes me think of like a go-kart. But then you imagine having like over 1,000 horsepower. It just gives me anxiety thinking about it right now, but it's the good kind of anxiety. The butterflies you get in your stomach at the top of a roller coaster. I already feel like I'm going to throw up. But as you can see, we've got the door bars over here, which are plenty of clearance from the body, the driver, and this is the seating position. Pretty comfortable, super rigid, and my feet will be on these risers. And this is it, man. So we keep the elbows at approximately 90 degrees. It's a manual steering rack. This gives you the mechanical advantage you need to be able to steer the car. 320 millimeter OMP wheel. And so, yeah, it's pretty much like a spaceship in here. A terrifying spaceship. But I can't wait to take you guys for a ride. So now regarding the power plant stuff, everybody wants to know about the 5-rotor and the transaxle. So right now we're just waiting on the crankshaft from Precision Engineering so that we can build the 5-rotor engine. And we're going to be working with Steven from Billet Rotary Store. He's going to be using Billet Pro plates to assemble the motor. It will be a full peripheral port. And then we're also waiting on Hollinger for an MXT transmission transaxle, which will be a 6-speed sequential pneumatic paddle shifted. And so that will be coming out of Australia. So super excited. We're waiting on those parts right now. And so while we're waiting on the drivetrain, we're using these pieces as dummy components. This is a Porsche G50 and a dummy block right now. So I'm excited to be able to show you guys some updates on the car. And we're moving along with the project. And I hope to be able to show you some more things shortly. We're going to be getting the passenger seat in the car and finishing out the interior, like I said. And then we're going to be moving to the aero. So the next development of the video that you'll see, we'll be doing the tubular front end. We'll be doing the splitter. As you can see, come around here, you can see we have this big composite front splitter up here. And this thing generates over 1,000 pounds of downforce, which will be mounted underneath our front clam. We'll be cutting out the headlights. We'll be doing ducting and aero work, brake ducts, all sorts of things. The cooling components, we've got radiators that we've ordered. The car is going to have 3 radiators on it, 1 for the intercooler, 2 for the cooling system, and 2 oil coolers. It's just going to be insanity. Todd's going to be building a fuel cell for the car that's custom made, and we're going to be using we got a 6-stage dry sump system that we're putting together. Just very excited for all the development and engineering that's going into this project. I want to thank everyone that's participated. I want to thank Garrett and Billet Rotary Store again. And so appreciate you guys watching the video, and stay tuned for more over the next few months.